Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. This week's episode is going to be an update about last week's episode, so it's my experience using eBay and PayPal. There has been some updates, some things going on this case, specifically the case where I talked about I sold a camera to the US, and about, well, if you're interested in more details, you should watch last week's episode. But very fast, what happened is I sold a camera to the US. 10 days after, I live in Europe. 10 days after, a person opened a dispute, said I had stolen the money and not shipped the item. I claimed that 10 days it's not enough for the item to arrive in the US because it was sent with a standard international shipping. Anyway, the parcel didn't arrive and eBay decided to refund the money from the camera to the buyer. The problem is that I have a tracking number. I shipped it with a tracking number, so I can prove I shipped an item to the US. And what is currently happening is that I go to the USPS website, I insert the tracking number, and it says still there that the parcel it's on its way. I cannot really see what's happening, but it still says so something is wrong because I sent the package like 2 months ago and it still didn't arrive. Anyway, I no longer have the money. eBay just stole my money from my PayPal account and refunded the buyer without investigating whatsoever, and I cannot dispute this decision from eBay because they don't give me this option. The case is solved, it's closed, and there is nothing I can do about it. So what I did, I took this document. This is the proof, the official document I got when I shipped the item. Here it's the tracking number, here is the item, quantity, and the price. Here it's our details, personal details, it doesn't really matter. Anyway, I went to the Austrian Post Service, I brought this document, I explained the situation, and they said I had to open an investigation. It's going to take about 6 weeks to resolve this case. They cannot tell me anything at this point. So that's exactly what I did. I opened an investigation, and then I was talking a little bit with the person working there, and the person that was very kind. The person said, from my experience, where I've seen in the past, and remember this is just speculation, there is no evidence whatsoever to support this. What the person said is, from my experience, what is happening is that the buyer has to pay taxes in the US because there's no trade agreement between the US and the EU, and the value of the item is $70 US, and probably there's some taxes that have to be paid in the US, and the person either didn't knew about it or changed its mind and doesn't want to pay, so it's not paying, and the camera is being blocked at the customs service in the US. If this is true, it's extremely bad that position of eBay is to refund the buyer. It's not my fault, it's not eBay's fault, it's solely the fault of the buyer. The buyer, if he didn't know, he shouldn't know. If he knew and changed its mind, then he should be a grown-up, a honest person, which apparently on eBay it's very hard to come by these days, honest buyer. And it should be up to his decision and go pay the taxes he owns to the US service, tax service, and yeah, everyone would go happy to its life. That's not what happened. eBay stole my money, gave it to this person that is avoiding to comply with its obligations, and I'm the one losing money. It costed me about $20 to $25 US to package, ship, and send it to the US. And hopefully, at least there's the possibility, if the item is found to be blocked in the US Customs Service, that it returns. I'm not sure I will have to pay for return, or the camera will just be destroyed if I don't want to pay for the return costs. Anyway, what matters here is that eBay has a very bad attitude against the sellers. If you go to YouTube and search eBay buyer scams, there's a ton of situations This is going on for like 10 years. I could trace some videos back to 2010 to 2008. So eBay is well aware that buyers are doing this kind of things, but eBay is not doing anything. These scams are well known. People are raising awareness for these situations, and most of them, they do have a possibility of solving these situations. For example, my situation is very simple to solve. If I have shipped it and I have a tracking number, so there is the proof of shipment, then they should bring it to the buyer and say, why are you not receiving it? Can you go with your the tracking number that was provided to you, go to the post service and get like an explanation from them explaining what is going on? Because if the parcel is lost, which is a possibility, then there is the possibility of getting an insurance on the item. But if the problem is that he has to pay taxes, then eBay should act like a responsible company and say, yeah, you bought something, now you owe taxes, go and pay them. If you don't pay them, then it's your problem, we will not refund you. But they are doing exactly the opposite. They don't care about anything, they're just refunding the buyer. And I consider that stealing. And this company, it's not a small company. I was Googling the information about revenue. eBay had a revenue of 10 billion euros in 2018. The CEO receives millions and millions of euros per year. So a problem here is also that they don't want to hire, they don't want to spend money paying people to solve these problems. So they have this kind of automatic service. You're often talking with the bot, and the bot is always generating the same email. I received like 3 times the same email saying, well, provide the tracking number or consider refunding the buyer. I don't believe a person would do this 2 or 3 times, consecutive times, especially when I provided the tracking number on the moment I shipped the item to the US, and I provided again the tracking number the first time I received this email. So they know I have provided the tracking number. There is the possibility to check it. So this must be an automatic system that doesn't know how to proceed in this case, or it wasn't taught how to proceed when it actually had the tracking number available. And this is quite sad, because it seems that eBay is more interested in paying millions and millions to its CEO instead of investing in a well-trained customer service that actually can look at things and make right decisions. I guess it's better for the CEO to get millions per year than actually build a very good company that creates bonds of trust between anyone involved. Anyway, to summarize, what I want to say is that there are alternatives to eBay and to PayPal. They are out there. I'm currently searching alternatives. I have already moved to sell on local platforms. They work much better. I sold almost all the items I had to sell on eBay already on this local platform. I sold them cheaper than I was selling on eBay, and still I could get more money because eBay and PayPal together take a chunk of like 30% without doing anything. So I could decrease like 10% of the price and still get more money at the end of the transaction, and I wasn't scammed in any of the times. I sold everything personal. I brought the item, said, here, you can look at it. The person looked at it, said, yeah, looks good. They bought it, paid it, and went away, never heard from them again. So this is how it works for me now. I'm also looking in the future to see if eBay is going to change. I will not use ever eBay again and PayPal until they change their policy and terms. If they actually start to improve on this matter, if they will update their attitude towards more friendly to sellers. It's not even a matter of being friendly to sellers, it's about having interest in investigating and coming to a fair decision, which is to the side of those who aren't cheating on the platform. When this happens, eventually I'll buy and sell again on eBay. Until then, I will not use the platform anymore. So that's what I had to say this week. I hope I can in the future update this situation again when there's the decision from this investigation from the Austrian Post. I will hopefully in the future make a video saying that I got the camera, I got my money back, or something like that. That would make me happier than losing the money, paying the shipping to the US, paying the fees, and still getting to lose my camera. So guys, if you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't subscribed yet, and until the next week.